Hey folks, welcome to Play Branson, where you get to know Branson entertainers better. My name is Chris Meyer, your host, and I'm here today with Haley Westrich, my co-host.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing great as always.
Good.
And so we're just after Labor Day.
We are.
And so, I think fall's a great time to come.
I think so too. A lot going on still.
Yeah. We've been doing this show for over 80 episodes now. This is episode 84.
Crazy.
But we want to let you know we actually do go to these shows.
We do.
We go to a lot of them. Now, we can't get to every one of them.
Right.
But we just wanted to talk about, hey, we've been to these shows, and so to kind of talk about shows maybe you've gone to and some of your thoughts.
So, a lot of country shows I've been to. So, like Clay Cooper's show, Billy Yates hit Songwriters in the Round, Raiding the Country Vault. Those are a few of my favorites right there. How about you?
Yeah. Well, of those shows, I've seen Clay Cooper's show, I've seen Billy Yates' show, the Songwriter show, and I tell you what, that was very organic. I loved it. Because it's going to be different every week.
Exactly.
And these guys talk about the history. These songwriters are world-class songwriters. So I really like that. Of course, I've seen Samson.
Right.
Recently I saw the Hughes Music Show.
That's incredible.
And, the Hughes Music Show, they have this great opening number based on the Greatest Showman.
Yep.
The Greatest Showman, and just the costuming. Every time I go to that show, I'm amazed by the costuming.
Yes.
And they're the world's largest performing family, and I just think they do a great job there.
Sure.
Let's see, what else here? Of course, Rick Thomas.
Yeah, a lot of great magic shows.
I don't know how he does some of the stuff he does.
I don't either.
And he talked about that on one of our previous shows, this whole walking in air and flying through air. And even like a lot of times you'll see this where, oh, there's the wire. You don't see.
Nope.
It's good.
Yes.
And let's see. You have I have here Liverpool Legends.
That was a fun one. Yeah, just the way they do that show. Just a really great way to get the crowd involved too.
So let's talk about our next guest.
Yeah, speaking of variety shows and things like that, we've got Jim Barber with us.
And folks, Jim is awesome. You're going to want to watch this segment and stay tuned, because Jim is coming back to Branson. And so we're so excited about that. So we'll be back in just a moment with more Play Branson.
There are so many things to do in Branson. You need help planning and booking all your fun. You need iBranson.com. You can find everything Branson has to offer from your computer, tablet, or cell phone. You can even buy tickets online or talk to one of their friendly Branson travel specialists. There's no sales pitches, no delivery fees, no service fees, and no waiting. It's fast and easy. Find your fun at iBranson.com. Do it all online or call 877-ENTERTAIN. That's 877-368-3782. iBranson.com.
Hey folks, welcome back to Play Branson, and today we are here with the one and only Jim Barber.
There's only one?
I think.
Oh my gosh, good thing too. Oh, hi there. This will help.
There's your mic.
How much? It beat day.
So
what?
Jim,
wait a second, there's something, hello? There's something wrong here. Hello?
I think it's just something not coming out of your mouth.
I don't know, it's not working right. Hello? Oh well.
So,
Thank you.
Jim.
Yes, I'm sorry, Chris.
Tell us about your history, because you've been in Branson a long time, and we're going to talk about next segment. We're going to talk about your coming back.
Okay.
Even though you've always been here.
I've been here, yes. But I'm coming back.
But you're coming back. But talk to people about, because you got into this business you're a ventriloquist.
I started performing about 40 pounds ago, and actually I was 9 years old when I went to Medora, North Dakota, and saw an outdoor Wild West show that still plays there to this day, but it's like a Branson-style show. And they had a man named John Shirley who did this great act with giant marionette puppets. And so I went home and I started making puppets, kind of like Sesame Street puppets, and did magic tricks, and I put on shows in my basement, and I would hang posters up on all the telephone poles in the neighborhood and say, come see Jim the Magician, 10 cents admission, but I think I ended up giving everyone a nickel to come and watch the show. But then people started calling me for their kids' birthday parties and school events and blue and gold banquets and church shows. And by the time I was a senior in high school, I was doing a lot of shows around my hometown. This is Rapid City, South Dakota, up in the Black Hills.
Yeah.
And then it came time for college, and my dad said, son, I want you to have something to fall back on. So I studied civil engineering to be an architect at South Dakota School of Mines and Technology, and I enjoyed that, but the highlight of that year was that I won the talent contest with my ventriloquist act. So I knew I wanted to be a performer, and I ended up going to the University of Minnesota in Minneapolis, and I got a degree in broadcasting production and also in theater production. And during that time, I took a little bit of time off, and I traveled for the USO as the host of a USO show. And I went to I was 20 years old and traveled to every Air Force base in the United States for a full year. Then the next year went and spent about 5 months in the Mediterranean, Europe, performing for NATO bases and military families.
Wow.
And that was just a fantastic experience because I got to see things that tourists don't even get to see. And then I went back.
Did you see the UFOs?
The UFOs, yes.
Yes.
I brought some with me, too. They're here. We'll introduce them later. But he's been in the motel too long. We got to get him out. All right.
Hey, I actually had a guy one time, I'm diverting, that came into one of the hotels that I worked at.
Yeah.
And he told me, like, he could bring a UFO to Branson. He actually told me. It's a true story.
Well, growing up in South Dakota, I've seen things that I can't explain.
Yes.
And who knows? But that's another subject.
That's another story for
talk
another
about
day.
that one. But where did we go? Oh, yes.
USO.
UFO. Yeah. Oh, a USO. That's right. I came back to college, and I had a local kids show then for about 2.5 years that I did called Breakfast with Casey Jones. Casey was a famous kids show host in Minneapolis, had been on the air for 30 years and was off for a while. And then I came back on as his new sidekick, Charlie Caboose. And we did a fun morning show. It was 7 to 8:30, Monday through Friday, but we would tape them all on a Friday. So we would do 5 openings, 5 closings, 5 bits, 5 guest spots, and then they would edit it together, and it was a lot of fun. During that time, Todd Oliver, who was a ventriloquist that's worked here in Branson, we became good friends,
Really?
and Todd was just learning ventriloquism at the time, and so he came on several times with me as a guest as well. And so I have some wild video of us just starting out in our careers doing
That's
ventriloquism together. But so that was fun. Then I finally had an opportunity to go to Mexico and study Spanish. So I lived in Cuernavaca, Mexico with a family and only spoke Spanish and learned 3 semesters of Spanish in 1 semester. Went back, finally graduated. This is the short version. I was dating my girlfriend at the time, Diane, who became my wife. She was auditioning for Opryland in Nashville. And so I thought, well, I better go audition too if I want to be around this woman. So I went and auditioned, and I was the only one that got hired. So
She didn't get hired.
she didn't get hired.
Oh, my gosh.
And even though she was very, very talented. So we decided, let's just get married in Nashville. So we got married and lived in Nashville for 2 years while I was performing at Opryland. And then I started touring comedy clubs and eventually got into the college circuit. And at this time, we had moved to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And for 6 years, I was traveling on the road most of the year, entertaining at about 2,000 college campuses all over the United States.
And so you're trying to entertain college students, make them laugh, and have a good time.
Right. And I was I was just out of college myself,
Okay.
so I kind of understood that mindset because I was right there, But my wife didn't like being on the road, so she went back to school and got her master's degree and was doing musical theater up and down the East Coast in New York, and I was traveling. But when I would come home, I'd usually have a week or 2 off, and it'd be like dating again. It was fun, But after 6 years, I was getting a little burned out, and somewhere in the midst of that, I had opened for a young guitar player named Glenn Campbell, who up in Frankenmuth, Michigan, and 6 years later, they contacted me and said, "Have you ever heard of Branson, Missouri?" And I said, yes, I had been there back in the mid-'80s. And they go, well, Glenn's opening a theater there, and we'd like you to be the variety actor or comedian in the show. And I was thrilled to get off the college circuit because I was burned out from all the driving. I was driving 500 or 600 miles every day, doing a show 7 days a week, just go, go, go. Yeah. And so to come to Branson and be part of the Glenn Campbell Good Time Show in this great theater that now is a lawn for Mercy Hospital.
Meaning it's been torn down.
It's been torn down, but it was a beautiful theater.
It was.
This was 1994, right at the boom period when all the big theaters were being built, all the big stars were coming into town, and the theaters were doing 2 or 3 shows a day, and they were all sold out, and the buses were coming by the hundreds and thousands, and it was just a really exciting time to be in Branson and to entertain. So we did the Glenn Campbell Good Time Show for 3 years, and during that time I started getting involved a little bit with community activities and helping with Branson Fest and some of these other events that we would do. But went back to Philadelphia for 2 years, and I really thought I was done with Branson, and I thought I was done in show business. I was going into this new field called multimedia. Yes. And the Art Institute of Philadelphia had this 2-year program called multimedia. And so I was one of the very first students that signed up for this, and I just loved it. It was all full of students like me. They were musicians and creative people. And I learned digital animation and digital filmmaking. Up until that time, everything was deck to deck and slicing audio with a razor blade and all kinds of things. But so I was performing at resorts in the Poconos, doing my comedy act and getting my degree in multimedia. And then when I graduated, several things happened, and my wife and I decided we'd move back to Branson. I was going to be doing a show here. I started a multimedia company here, and a year later, my daughter was born, so I don't know.
Yeah, so and they say the rest is kind of history.
The rest
and so we actually have to stop for just a second.
I went over time.
You
Sorry.
did, but that's okay. We'll be back in just a moment.
The award-winning Quality Inn West. It's the closest hotel in Branson to Silver Dollar City and near Branson's IMAX complex. Relax in the indoor pool or hot tub. The hotel offers relaxing queen rooms and 2-room suites. Enjoy each morning's free hot breakfast inside or out on the patio. For more information or to make reservations, call 800-443-8694.
Hey folks, welcome back to Play Branson. We are here with Jim Barber and actually our very first pet we've ever had,
Really?
Chico Pete.
I'm not a pet, I'm the mannequin American.
A mannequin American?
Si, senor.
Okay, you're not a puppet?
No,
You're not a dummy?
oh, come on.
I'm sorry, all right. Good. Yeah, he's my dog, Chico Pete.
Si, senor. Hello.
Hello,
What's your name?
I'm Haley.
Haley.
Yes.
Oh, good. They named the comet after you.
They did.
Yeah.
Okay.
Chico, it's good to have you here on the show.
Thank you.
So you can just hang out with us and have fun.
Okay.
So,
All right.
So, Jim, we just talked a whole lot about your history, but there's even more that we want to dig into. So tell us kind of where you went from there.
Well, I got to Branson, came back, and I was working with the illusionist Kirby Van Birch for a year. And Chico was, were you in that show?
Si, senor.
Okay. Well, because we had been in the Glenn Campbell Good Time Show for 3 years.
Gracias. Yeah.
Yeah. Then after the Kirby Van Birch show, we went to work with the Osmonds, and we did their ice show. And I had to do my show with cleats on my boots so that I wouldn't slip on the ice. And that was a great time as well. Then I took a year off when we had our first child and only child, Jessica, and she was born in 2001. And then, so I filled in for different shows around town at that time. And then went back with Jimmy Osmond in a show called The American Jukebox Show, and worked that for 2 seasons, and met the Hamners. We shared a dressing room, a very small dressing room with the Hamners and all of their birds. And we ended up teaming up after that, and we did the Hamner Barber variety show for 10 years at the Hamner Barber Theater on Shepherd of the Hills Expressway. Then I took a year and I traveled all over the world doing cruise ships and things, but really missed being home. I didn't plan on traveling that long. And unfortunately, right when I got back from my cruise ship, my wife, Diane, we found out had something, and it turned out to be pancreatic cancer. And in 3 months, she was gone. So my daughter was only 14 at the time. And I knew I just couldn't be away doing shows or traveling. So I took some marketing work out of my home and did that for the next few years while she was growing up. Now she's 17 and pretty independent and driving, and junior in high school and doing great.
And so you're coming back.
I'm coming back. I've been doing things behind the scenes. I work with the Branson Regional Arts Council. I still am the executive director, and we are producing musical theater and community theater events down at the historic Owen Theater downtown, Branson's first theater. And we have all kinds of wonderful things. So go to bransonarts.org for more information on what's coming up for our community. But I am coming back to the Branson stage out at Shepherd of the Hills, September and October here at the Pavilion Theater. We're going to do a lunchtime show, and it will start about 11:45, runs about an hour and 10 minutes or so. You can sit down, have a great meal and some great laughs, and you'll meet Chico and Baby and the Barber in Seville.
And a few surprises. It's incredible. Just fantastic.
All right.
Oh my God. Now
no.
I'm going to get,
Is he going to build a wall?
Never mind. All right.
Here's the deal. That's going to be probably the funniest lunchtime experience you can have.
Oh, I think so. You might lose your lunch too. You'll be like a ventriloquist throwing your voice and your meal. But no, it's going to be great, and I'm really excited because we don't have a lot of comedy in Branson right now. In fact, we haven't had a ventriloquist in town for quite a while. Darcy Lynn Farmer has been a big hit on the internet and all around the country after her big win on America's Got Talent. And I've known Darcy for a few years, and she's a great, great boon to the art of ventriloquism.
Yeah.
We have a convention every year where about 500 ventriloquists from around the world get together, and because of Darcy, we have a lot of young people now coming into the industry and starting to learn. So the professionals go there, and we give lectures and show people the right way to do things so that the art form will continue to grow and prosper in the future.
She actually, I was told the other day, she actually came to the Branson area and went to Kanakuk.
See, she did.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah.
In fact, we were doing one of our musicals, Aladdin Jr. down at the Owen Theater, and one of the kids in our cast came running in. I just saw Darcy Lynn. And I said, well, where? I know Darcy. She's down at Clocker's with her family. And so we walked down the street, and there they were. And so we took a bunch of pictures, and she and her brother both were at Kanakuk and had a great time. And they're really wonderful family too, the Farmers, great people.
So how long would you say you've been doing ventriloquist type things? Like if you had...
What time is it?
Yeah, I've been doing it really, are you trying to guess my age?
No.
Over 40 years, over 40 years, yeah.
And so there's what I would say is there's probably very few people in the world that have done it as long as you and do it as part of your career.
I've been very fortunate to make a living playing with dolls. That's right, and it's been a lot of fun. It's it can be a challenge. In any career, you can have peaks and valleys, but especially in the entertainment business. But I've been very fortunate that this really is one of the only careers I've had up until recently when I'm doing this work with the Arts Council. But the Arts Council job is like everything I've ever done in my life, all rolled up into one.
Yeah.
Because I've sketched, I've done artwork, I've done creating, I've done business, I've managed a theater, I've worked in all kinds of areas, and so I love working as the director for this group, and we have wonderful volunteers that participate, and it's really something that Branson has needed for a long time. We're not competing with the theaters. What we provide is strictly for our community, and people just are raving about what we're doing.
That's good.
They love it.
See, I don't get to say much, do I? No. Okay.
Well, something we didn't talk about yet. Hi. Oh, you're so sweet.
I'm getting tired.
Aw.
Okay, that's enough.
Okay, all right.
Tell us about some of the awards that you've won.
Awards I won.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Or Chico, maybe Chico
Yeah.
won.
Chico can.
I get rewards. They call them treats. Yeah.
Yeah.
When I'm good, which is not very often.
Let's see, the first big award that I was really excited about was the Ventriloquist of the Year that I received at the Ventriloquist Convention.
Okay.
I also won Comedy Entertainer of the Year for the college circuit when I was traveling for colleges. But one of my most exciting honors that I got to do was to be on The Late Show with David Letterman for Ventriloquist Week. And they had 5 ventriloquists. Each night they featured a different ventriloquist, and I was one of those that was selected to do that. And that was a real honor. And there's a whole story behind that because there was a major blizzard. We almost didn't make it there.
Wow.
And but it worked out great.
So let's recap. People can see you this fall at Shepherd of the Hills Pavilion Theater.
Yes.
It'll be at lunchtime. Do you know at what time?
11:45 we start,
Okay.
so you can come in about 11:30, grab your lunch, sit down, get a good table. It's going to be intimate setting. There's only 200 seats in there, but
Okay.
it's going to be a great way to have lunch and start your day fun. In the evenings, we've got the Sons of the Pioneers who will be performing on the same stage. So those guys are great. Some of my favorite music is the Sons of the Pioneers. So I'm really excited to be working with them as well.
And then what days will you be out there?
I'll be out there Tuesday through Saturday,
Okay.
from starting September 11th all the way through October. And please come out and see us. Yeah.
So folks, you're going to have a blast. Jim is hilarious. His Chico and all his other characters are hilarious.
That I'm the best.
Yes.
Yeah, but we have the baby.
Yeah, that I'm the best.
Yeah, we have Barber and Seville where I'm the dummy.
Well, yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, and then we also have some impressions that I do and some new surprises this year that people haven't seen in Branson before.
Well, there you go, folks. Be sure to, Jim, do you have your own website?
Well, I have one, jimbarber.com, that hasn't been updated in a long time. So go take a look at the front page, and maybe by the time this is out there, it'll be updated probably.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, jimbarber.com.
There we
He's
go.
too busy to do his website.
There we go.
Okay.
Folks, we'll be back in just a moment. Hey folks, this is Chris Meyer for Play Branson, and I'm on location here today at Famous Dave's Barbecue, located down here at Branson Landing. If you've never been to Famous Dave's Barbecue, this is a Branson staple. You need to come here and check it out. It's the most awarded barbecue in the entire country, and they've won so many awards, it's absolutely amazing. Now, maybe you don't want to come down to the landing and you just want takeout, they can do it. Here's the other thing, maybe you have a family reunion going on at your hotel, they'll actually come cater, and you don't really have to have that much notice. They are extremely flexible here at this restaurant. I've eaten here many times. I love the barbecue. They have a variety of sauces, and of course all types of barbecue dishes, whether that's chicken, ribs, beef, pork, you name it, they've got it. And they also have other things as well. So they've got a lot of burgers, soups, and salads. The other thing I like about it is the location overlooking Lake Taneycomo right behind me. They also have a patio overlooking the lake. So be sure to check that out. The other thing that they've got new here at Famous Dave's Barbecue is they have these new signature cocktails, and literally they say some of them are smoking, and I've seen some of them smoking. It's a really cool experience, so you need to check that out also. So if you haven't been to Famous Dave's Barbecue, come on out and check it out down here at Branson Landing overlooking Lake Taneycomo. Hey folks, welcome back to Play Branson. You just saw Famous Dave's. I love that place.
I love barbecue, but I've never been there.
You've never been there.
I
Well,
haven't.
you need to go. I actually know the owner. His name is Dave, and he's not the famous Dave, but he's got an incredible story of just how he rose up into the world of Famous Dave's, and he owns lots of Famous Dave's. Lives here in Branson. Nice guy.
Nice.
And so, folks, it's a great setting down at the Branson Landing. You can overlook the lake if you sit outside, or you can
Right.
sit inside. And if you sit inside, it's got the, what I'd say, the lodge feel. And so be sure to go check out Famous Dave's. And if they go and they pick up a Flavor of Branson dining guide,
They're gonna
they can
save
get it,
some money.
They can save some money when they go. So check that out. That's your vacation tip right there. Things that we've got coming up in the next couple days are
We've got Country Music Weekend. A
Out
bunch
at-
of people coming in for that.
out at Silver Dollar City.
Yeah.
And so Sawyer Brown will be there. Steve Warner will be there, and then Firefall will be there. I'm not as familiar with Firefall.
Not either.
But Sawyer Brown, tons of hits.
Yeah.
Steve Warner, tons of hits. Lots of he's written a lot of music. And then next weekend at Andy Williams Performing Arts Center, we have Ronnie Millsap.
Yes, that's going to be super fun.
So Ronnie's been into town lots of times. And that same weekend, there's Blues Brews and Barbecue down at Branson Landing. When I see Brews, I almost think of Brews like someone's going to knock you out, but that's not what it is. It's Brews. Here's the thing. There's something you just told me about the other day, coming in October to Branson, which is just kind of crazy. So tell us about this.
We've got the Singing Trump.
So
he was on America's Got Talent, became like a sensation across the United States, and he's coming to Branson. And
you showed me a promo clip, and it is hilarious. And so I don't know, sometimes when these shows come in one-off, sometimes they do good promotion, sometimes they don't. I haven't heard anything about it until you told me, but we wanted to get the word out there. If you want to go see the Singing Trump, go check it out on YouTube. It's going to be pretty funny, I think. And then our next show.
Yes, we've got Taylor Reed with us, so that's going to be awesome.
And so Taylor's been in town a long time, but the first time on this show, and so we'll be anxious to see him, and he might do a magic trick.
He just might. I'm
excited
to
so
see.
Let's see what he makes appear or disappear. So you appear next week, and check out Taylor Reed. If you're planning your Branson vacation, be sure to go to ibranson.com, or you can call those folks at 877-ENTERTAIN. They can help plan your entire Branson vacation. And Jim, let me just tell you, it was awesome having you on the show, and the first pet we've ever had on the show,
so
Chico Pete.
Yes.
So, Jim, we love you. Thanks for coming. So we'll see you next Thursday here on Play Branson.